Today we're going to be building a ETL pipeline. We're beginning by assembly a EC2 instance on Amazon, AWS. We're going to be setting everything, and we're going to be connecting this database to an interface called DBeaver through a program called PuTTY. And then we're going to build some code in Python to extract data from an API and then store this data in our DBeaver interface. And we're going to make it run like weekly using Airflow. And we're going to build a DAG and we're going to show all the process to it. So let's get started. So in this part of the video, I'm going to show how to create our EC2 instance so we can store our data. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud, and it basically is a database where you can store data and it will grow as much as the data inside of it, so we won't be charged as much. But you can see here, I got charged like $50. That's because I forgot it open for like a few days, so I'm gonna teach you guys how to not do the same mistake I did. So first things first, we're gonna go in the search bar. I know it's here, but you can go in the search bar and type EC2. Okay, then we're gonna create an instance. Go into instance. I'm going to execute an instance. Here we're gonna create a random tag. I don't know, I'm just gonna say project 01 and add. Here we're gonna select our machine image, which has to be Ubuntu. We're gonna run Airflow later. The same we are installing in our virtual machine that I'm gonna show later. This version is 22.04, which is the same we are installing later in the Ubuntu terminal. I'm gonna show when we start Airflow. This means we're using free tier. This is about processing. I'm also gonna say stick to free tier. And this is pair of keys. This is the pair of keys we're gonna use on PuTTY later, so we can make our connection to the database to the DBeaver, which is our interface. So we're just gonna create a new pair of keys, and we're gonna select .ppk, which is for use in PuTTY, which is the software we're gonna use. So the name we're gonna we can put any name. I'm just gonna name it key 02, and we're gonna create a pair of keys. So we're gonna download it, and we're gonna store this in a path that is easy for us to remember. I'm just gonna put it in a folder which is in my desktop. So downloads, I'm just gonna drag this here, and we're gonna keep on creating our instance. So this is network configurations. It's gonna generate a security group that we're gonna edit later to allow PuTTY and DBeaver to make a contact. So for now, we're gonna just let this way. Storage. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it the default args for now. There's like an important configuration that I want to show. Actually, I think that's pretty much it. So we're gonna execute our instance. And okay, you can click on visualize all instances. I'm gonna refresh the page. And you can see our instance appears here. It takes a few minutes. Okay, so back to where we stopped. So the instance we created, it says it's executing, it's running. So we're just gonna click on it. So we're gonna need basically like this IP address here, so we can connect with PuTTY. The thing is, every time you let your instance sleep and you have to reopen it, this IP will change, and it will make a difference when we are configuring PuTTY. We cannot automate this, but we can make like we can save like a few settings, so it will become easier later. So PuTTY is a very easy software to install. You can just type in Google. Probably the first link will be a PuTTY link. So you just download it, and it's very simple to install. I'm gonna click here. So we have here a few things we have to configure. First thing is host name or IP address, which is this IP address. I'm just gonna copy. I'm gonna paste here, and then we're gonna need to set our key that we create with the EC2. So we're gonna go here in SSH, authentication, and credentials. So private key file for authentication. So we're gonna browse. We're gonna look for a key. You're gonna just put the path you save your key. I put in my desktop, so I'm just gonna select it. So, and then we're gonna go back to our session. We're gonna give it a name. So I'm gonna say instance 1. So we're gonna save it, and we're gonna click it. And here, this message asks if the key is if we trust the key. We're just gonna accept. That's okay. So in this login, we're gonna type Ubuntu, which is our operational system. So it's already running in the IP we set. I mean, this is my IP. And we're gonna download here Postgres, and then we're gonna connect our databases in DBeaver. So right now in our Ubuntu PuTTY instance window, we're gonna be installing Postgres. It's very easy. I set a document with all the code you're gonna have to type everywhere in this project, and it will be available in my GitHub later. So installing Postgres, first we're gonna look for updates. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Like you don't paste with Control C or in Control V. You actually have to press right key, right click to paste things on this terminal. So we're gonna look for updates. It's gonna take a few seconds. Probably just gonna see. So you can see it's done. I'm gonna upgrade. And then we're gonna be installing Postgres. I mean, it might take a few minutes. What? So we're just gonna reopen Putty. I think it had something to do with the kernels. It says it will automatically update, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Um, System start requirement. Okay. So apparently I solved the permission error we got later. So I typed these two lines before I call Postgres. So cmod 755 from Ubuntu and sudo shell Ubuntu home Ubuntu. So this is the username we put, which is Ubuntu. So apparently what I did with these lines were give permission to access the folder. And I also typed sudo postgres as pspl to run my Postgres. And while running Postgres, we create the user admin with password admin, and we alter the user to super user. Uh, the next step is to connect to DBeaver. We're gonna do that, but first I want to show something I did on Putty. So I'm gonna keep this open, and I'm gonna open Putty. Anyway, I'm gonna load another instance. I'm not gonna open another instance. I'm just gonna show a thing I did to connect to Postgres default port. I went to SSH and then tunnels, and then I typed in source port 5432, which is the default port for Postgres, and the destination is local host 5432. Then we're gonna click add, and then in sessions we're gonna click save again. I'm not gonna click add because I already did, and it's gone. Okay, so the next step is to create our database in Postgres, yes, using DBeaver and connecting to the ECL instance. Okay, so we're gonna do this step again. When I recorded the first time, it actually had no sound, so I'm repeating it. Right now, we are opening the DBeaver. DBeaver is our interface where we will use to write code to extract our files. So as a data engineer, you have to keep your data accessible. So like people from marketing or other sectors in your company might need to write code through here to extract data. And we're gonna make the connection here. So you see, I already made the connection, and what we're gonna do now is create a new connection, and we're gonna create a PostgreSQL connection. So what do we have to do here? You see the port is the default port, as we said, and we're gonna let the host as localhost and the data as Postgres. So we're gonna just change this here to admin, and the password is also admin because it's the one we just created. You see, we're gonna test connection. It's gonna say it worked fine, and then we're gonna click conclude, and then your database will be connected to the EC2 instance in AWS cloud. And the next step is to actually build the tables. We're gonna put the weather data we scrape with the API. It's a very simple task, and we're gonna show it how to use uh, the SQL editor, and it's actually pretty straightforward. Okay, so right now we're gonna create the tables in the dataset in the database we just connected. So it's pretty standard SQL code. We're gonna go to editor and open a new script. Uh, I will provide this table creation in the document in my GitHub, but it's pretty simple. It's based on the things we're gonna extract from the API. I'm gonna show later, and I'm actually gonna hit run. You see there's an error because it's already been created. I already ran that. And you can see it appears on the schema, public, and tables. And weather BH, BH stands for Belo Horizonte, which is the city we're looking at. And you can see the table is actually created here. So after connecting the database in the Beaver, we're gonna talk briefly about the code because this is not a video about Python, but I need to go through step by step so people can understand what I did in the code. I wrote the code in VS Code, and we are not gonna run it from here. I'm gonna show. We're gonna run from a folder we're gonna create in Ubuntu terminal, and we're gonna install Airflow there and run our DAGs and see how the DAGs work. So first, let's talk about the code. So these are packages or libraries we imported. So daytime, we're going to be used to scheduling. Daytime and pendulum, we're going to be using to schedule our DAGs. Airflow, every Airflow library here, I'm going to show how to install through Linux terminal. Pandas, because the first function, we store data in a data frame, the data we scrape from the API. The requests to get the data JSON to, because we're gonna store in JSON format. And this too is related to the connection between the database and the DAGs and how Airflow will run. And to upload data in DBeaver as well. So, first function here is how to extract weather data. We are using an API from this site, weather API. We have here the documentation. This is the endpoint. You're gonna register, and they're gonna provide you an API key. So, how is this written here? So, first of all, this is my key. You're gonna replace with yours here. My city, we are looking at Belo Horizonte, which is the city I live in, and this is the basic endpoint we solder, and we're using the forecast JSON API, and we're gonna provide the key in the city, which is already here. So actually this step is we don't need it, but I'm gonna show just why I did it from here to here. I'm gonna generate a JSON a JSON file so we can know what we are doing. So this JSON file is right here. So this is what the API endpoint gets me. It's in JSON format, so we can see we have location here and information about the location, and we are actually interested in the 7 days in the future. So this is the date it is today. You can see right here, and we're actually this API provides from hour to hour, and we don't want that. We want just to get the days. So you can see that they are nested in a way that the day, the average of the day come here, and we're gonna get the information, max temperature in Celsius, minimum temperature in Celsius, average temperature in Celsius, total precipitation, and yeah, no, no, no. It's changed to rain. It's somewhere here. Oh, oh, anyway, so what we are doing here, we generate this JSON. Uh, Actually, I'm gonna take this out from here. We don't need this JSON format anymore. So actually, just this part. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. So we need to make some intermediate dictionaries. Actually, we're gonna create a bunch of empty lists. So the city is gonna repeat itself. So it's just gonna be we are getting the data through dictionary indexes. So the location and name, as you can see right here, location and name, we're gonna provide Belo Horizonte. And we're gonna do the rest as well. We're just gonna look at the JSON and do the indexing correctly, and it's gonna look like this. Oh yeah, the other column we're looking at is daily chance of rain, and we actually gonna run like for I in weather JSON. So we're gonna have 7 days there. We're gonna scrape all the 7 days information, and we're gonna store this in a lists, those empty lists, and we're gonna create a final dictionary with these columns, and we're gonna transform in a pandas data frame. We actually don't need this function, so I'm gonna take this off too. So load data, it's actually like a pretty standard function. You're gonna find functions exactly like that on Google. So I'm not gonna talk much about this one. So it's basically like we're making a connection with the library we imported, and we are putting the variables about our DBeaver Postgres database that we just created, localhost, the port 4532, the database name Postgres, and user and password admin. Of course, it's not good practice to put like user and password here. Um, in your company, you're gonna have like a folder for that. You're gonna have some code to extort that in a way that it doesn't show in the code. Since I'm gonna delete the bank after I finish this video, I'm just gonna put it this way. So now we're gonna talk about the tags. Um, I'm gonna insert here an introduction talking about tags, but it's basically like the how your tasks will run in Airflow. So the order your tasks will run. We're gonna pass a few default arguments. Uh, this one is requires the pendulum, which we imported above. So we're gonna start our DAG. This is our default. This is DAG ID. Just gonna call it weather API data. It's the name that's gonna show in the Airflow, and this one right here actually means it's gonna run weekly from midnight. And this days ago, it means it's gonna start to run actually yesterday. You're gonna start scraping from yesterday. So uh, another thing I found that is that you can actually pass direct arguments into a DAG. So you have to use these XCOM functions, and we're gonna be able to pass the arguments, because you can see right here that load data example, we have like data frame, tabella, which is table. I'm just gonna replace this. Actually, not gonna do that right now. It's tables and columns, and we are passing this right here, load data xcom. We're passing to load data, extracted data, whether BH, which is the name of the table we created in DBeaver, and all the columns we created there. And we're passing in a Python operator, such as the same we're using right here, which is an operator to execute Python functions. And right here, we define the task dependency, which is basically like we're gonna execute load test after we execute extract test. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much standard for the code. Right now, it's what it means. And we're gonna run it after I show how to install Airflow and how to run from the Airflow So from here, we're gonna follow a step by step on how to set a virtual environment using Linux through Ubuntu terminal, and how to install Airflow. So we're gonna just go right here and type terminal, and it's gonna open on a PowerShell instance. The first thing we're gonna see here is it's gonna list some versions of things we're gonna need to install. Actually, we're just gonna install like Ubuntu. Oh, actually, you first need to run this PowerShell as administrator. So if you don't, it won't work. It says Ubuntu is already installed. Uh, Once you do that, remember to use administrator privileges. I'm gonna click this in this arrow right here and open a Ubuntu terminal. What you're gonna do here is we're gonna set our VS Code in the right environment. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna create a directory. So we're actually gonna first we're gonna move out of the root directory because we don't want to cause any permission error, permission conflict. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna actually type cd/tmp. So we are in a tmp folder. We're actually gonna make a directory here, make dir. Um, we're gonna call this Airflow project, and we're gonna cd/tmp/airflow project. So we are in our Airflow project uh, Airflow project folder. If you already have the VS Code installed in your computer, you can just type code and it's gonna open the VS Code. It's in the previous folder, as you can see. So we're gonna just go to File and Open Folder. We're actually gonna go to /tmp /airflow project. So we're gonna type enter. Do you want to save the changes? Yes. So okay, we don't have like to as I trust. As you can see right here, we're gonna need to basically like recreate everything. So a few steps we're gonna actually have to do before executing our code is go to extensions, and from extensions you're gonna install WSL, which is we're gonna run our VS Code from our Ubuntu terminal. You see it's already running, so when you finish installing, you can just click here and it will run. And of course, install Python and PyBalance. Pretty much standard. So okay, we're gonna close this, and we're gonna create a degs.py. So we're gonna run our deg. So um, actually, I saved the script right here. There's probably like a much better way to do that, but we're gonna be using this code right here. It's the same I just ran through. We're gonna let this here. We're not gonna run it now. We're gonna actually just save. So right now we wanna create a. So we're gonna continue by installing Airflow, and we actually have to go through a few steps. So while I can actually, we are already in our Airflow project, so I'm gonna sudo update. And then we're gonna install Python and Python virtual environment. You see, it was already installed. I actually didn't have to do that because it was already running in my VS Code. I mean, so we're gonna create here all new virtual environment. I'm gonna call this Benv Airflow. So our virtual environment is running, and we're gonna activate it. So source venv airflow slash dot bin slash activate. Okay, so we are in our virtual environment. And yeah, we're pretty much good to go. And we're gonna install Apache Airflow. It's gonna take a while. Um, it's actually much quicker than you think, but in the end of this installation, there will be like a password and a username you're gonna need to use to log on the to log on your Airflow terminal. So I'm actually gonna be cutting that. Okay, so the Airflow is installed, and what we're gonna do now is run our Airflow standalone, which is how you activate Airflow. So Airflow stand alone. Actually, it was my mistake. Uh, oh, so we're getting an error here. Okay, let me see. So it says here Airflow is ready. We're gonna check if it's really ready. We're gonna actually so yeah, we're in. This one is not from right now. This one is I think I tried earlier, so I don't have to worry. That's from this. Now let's see this. Now let's refresh it again. So we're returning to the point where we stopped. I made a few changes in the previous code. This package wasn't working. So what I did was I had to change the directory. It probably won't matter to you, so I went back to the root. It's not ideal, but it seems to work this way. But what we're gonna do now is, oh yeah, there's one other thing. I actually had to install this this package when I moved to another folder, to another directory. So yeah, it's just pip install this and pip install this like you have to pip install this twice, one exactly like this and one like this. So that's pretty much this is gonna be in the documentation I'm putting in. So don't worry about that. And I actually called the Airflow standalone in this terminal, and it's actually running. And you can see right here. So this is the Airflow main page, and you can see that our DAG actually showed here weather APA data. So we're gonna click right here, and you can see we have two tasks: extract weather data and load data. Just as the the code, just the code we just explained, and so everything is working perfectly so far. So we're gonna run this test, this DAG, and see if it works. Oh yeah, remember like Putty must be up and DBeaver must be up as well. So every instance we're running right now is up. So we are running right now strict weather data. Um, while we're running, let's check the code right here because I made a few. I actually changed it to run right now. It's right here, pendulum now, and catch up false. So apparently they're retrying. Okay, this is our tag. I'm gonna pause right here and so there's one more thing I've actually forgot to include in this video. The first time I run the deck, I got an error saying that it did not have a module called PyArrow. So I went back and I installed the PyArrow in my VS Code, and it worked fine. It is in the script of the video, so I'm sorry for this, but I'm going to include this cut in the video. Okay, so it now finally seems to be working. As you can see, they uploaded the data from a week. And I made a few changes in the code. I'm gonna show now. This is the one currently running in the DAG. So what I did, I actually switch the the start date because to put a start date now, it can I read that it can be bad. Like it it is, how do I say that? It's not a good practice, so I changed it. And I also went back here and I changed the column names to my data frame to match the column names of my table in the Beaver. So I guess that's pretty much it. Well, our data, our pipeline is finally completed, and I'm gonna check next week if it's gonna upload another type of data. But for now, we can say that our job is completed. So thanks for watching. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm still practicing my English. I still gag a lot. So thank you for watching and thank you for paying attention to me. I'll be back with new videos